The 2026 FIFA World Cup match schedule was announced earlier today, and we now know exactly where and when all 104 matches will be played next summer. So here we have the official match schedule for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and it's been updated to include all the 72 group stage matches as well as the 32 knockout round matches. Now it's a little complicated to follow, so let's break it down by each match day to see who's playing who and where those matches will be taking place. So let's kick things off with match day 1, which we all know is going to be on June 11th, 2026. Now the opening match at next year's World Cup is going to be Mexico taking on South Africa, a repeat of the 2010 FIFA World Cup when South Africa hosted Mexico, which ended in a 1-1 draw. This match will be held at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City, and it's going to be a great way to kick off next year's competition. That same day, we also have South Korea taking on the playoff path D winner from UEFA, and that game will be taking place at the Estadio Akron in Guadalajara. So two great games to start off the 2026 World Cup on June 11th, 2026. So now we're moving on to match day 2, which is going to be held on June 12th, and this day starts off with Canada taking on the UEFA playoff path winner A at BMO Field in Toronto, and then we also have the United States taking on Paraguay at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Two great games for match day 2. I'm really looking forward to these ones. Moving on to the first day that has 4 matches, it's going to be match day 3, which will be held on June 13th. So this day will start off with Qatar taking on Switzerland at Levi Stadium in San Francisco, followed by Brazil taking on Morocco at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey. That's going to be the highlight match of this day. There's also Haiti taking on Scotland at Gillette Stadium in Boston, and the final match of match day 3 sees Australia taking on the playoff path winner C at BC Place in Vancouver. So a lot of really good matchups to look forward to here. That Brazil-Morocco game is going to be absolute peak. Next on the calendar is match day 4, which will be held on June 14th. Now this day kicks off with Germany taking on debutants Curacao at the NRG Stadium in Houston. The following match is the Netherlands taking on Japan at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. The next match is going to be Ivory Coast taking on Ecuador at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. And match day 4 wraps up with the UEFA playoff path winner B taking on Tunisia at the Estadio BBVA in Monterrey. So there's a lot of really interesting matchups here. Obviously the debutants Curacao will be playing the opening match of this day. Netherlands, Japan, very interesting match here, and it's also going to be interesting to see what happens between Ivory Coast and Ecuador. Now we're on to match day 5, which will be held on June 15th. So match day 5 starts off with Spain taking on Cabo Verde at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The second match of the day is Belgium taking on Egypt at Lumen Field in Seattle. Then we have Saudi Arabia taking on Uruguay at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, and the day wraps up with Iran taking on New Zealand at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. So there's also another debutant nation here. Cabo Verde kicks off their World Cup campaign against Spain. You also have Saudi Arabia versus Uruguay to look forward to, and Belgium versus Egypt should also be a great game as well. Match day 6 is going to be a big one. Now this is going to be held on June 16th, and it's going to start with France taking on Senegal at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey. The second match of the day is the FIFA Interconfederation Playoff winner 2 taking on Norway at Gillette Stadium in Boston. Then we have Argentina kicking off their campaign against Algeria at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And the final match of match day 6 is Austria taking on debutants Jordan at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. Some very solid matches here. A rematch of the 2002 opener between France and Senegal is going to be very interesting. Argentina versus Algeria should be a pretty good game as well. And Austria versus debutants Jordan, anything can happen there. Match day 7 is also a big one. This one is going to be held on June 17th, and it starts off with Portugal taking on the winner of the FIFA Interconfederation Playoff winner A at NRG Stadium in Houston. Then we have England versus Croatia at 2018 semi-final rematch taking place at AT&T Stadium in Dallas. The third match of the day is going to be between Ghana and Panama at BMO Field in Toronto, and match day 7 wraps up with Uzbekistan taking on Colombia at Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. So that Portugal game is going to be very interesting. That England-Croatia game I'm very much looking forward to. The debutants Uzbekistan have a huge challenge against Colombia, but overall match day 7 is going to be a very good one. So after match day 7, all 48 nations would have played their opening game at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which leads us into match day 8 on June 18th, 2026. Now to kick off this day, we have the UEFA playoff path winner D facing South Africa at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Then we have Switzerland taking on the UEFA playoff path winner A at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. Then the third match of the day is Canada taking on Qatar at BC Place in Vancouver, and this day rounds off with Mexico taking on South Korea at the Estadio Akron in Guadalajara. So some very interesting matchups here. This Canada's second game against Qatar is going to be a must-win match for them. It's probably going to be a must-win match for Mexico and South Korea as well. There's a lot going on match day 8. So moving on to match day 9 on June 19th, 2026. The opening match on this day is the USA taking on Australia at Lumen Field in Seattle. The second match of the day is Scotland taking on Morocco at Gillette Stadium in Boston. Then we have Brazil taking on Haiti at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. And this match day wraps up with the UEFA playoff path winner C facing Paraguay at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. So another big game for Brazil. It's going to be a very interesting game between them and Haiti. And Scotland and Morocco is going to be one to watch on this day as well. Match day 10 kicks off on June 20th. And this day kicks off with the Netherlands taking on the UEFA playoff path winner B at Energy Stadium in Houston. Then we have Germany taking on the Ivory Coast at BMO Field in Toronto. Then we have Ecuador taking on Curacao at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And this day wraps up with Tunisia facing Japan at the Estadio BBVA in Monterrey. So a lot of big games here as well. That Germany-Ivory Coast game is very interesting as well. That Netherlands game, depending on who they draw in playoff path B, is going to be super good as well. There's a lot to look forward to on match day 10. Match day 11 will be kicking off on June 21st, and this one is pretty interesting as well. We have Spain taking on Saudi Arabia at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. The second match of the day is Belgium taking on Iran at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. Then we have Uruguay taking on Cabo Verde at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. And this day rounds off with New Zealand taking on Egypt at the BC Place in Vancouver. 4 very interesting games to look forward to here, and I'm honestly expecting a pretty big blowout for some of these matches. Match day 12 will be taking place on June 22nd, and it kicks off with Argentina facing Austria at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Then the second match of the day is France taking on the Interconfederation Playoff winner 2 at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. Then we have Norway taking on Senegal at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey. And to round up the day, we have Jordan facing Algeria at Levi Stadium in San Francisco. That Argentina-Austria game is going to be one to watch, and that Norway-Senegal game is going to be very interesting as well. Match day 13 is kicking off on June 23rd, and the first game of the day is Portugal facing off against Uzbekistan at the NRG Stadium in Houston. Then we have England facing Ghana at the Gillette Stadium in Boston. The third match of the day is Panama versus Croatia at BMO Field in Toronto. And to round up the day, we have Colombia taking on the Interconfederation Playoff winner 1 at Estadio Akron in Guadalajara. That Portugal-Uzbekistan game I'm looking forward to, and that Panama-Croatia game should be pretty good as well. Match day 14 on June 24th is going to be a historic day for the World Cup, because for the first time in history, 6 games will be played on the same day. It kicks off with Switzerland facing Canada at BC Place in Vancouver. Then we have the winner of the UEFA Playoff Path A facing Qatar at Lumen Field in Seattle. Then we have Morocco facing Haiti at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Then we have Scotland facing Brazil at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Then we have the winner of the UEFA Playoff Path D facing Mexico at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. And to finish off the day, we have South Africa facing South Korea at the Estadio BBVA in Monterrey. There's going to be a lot going on this day. There's going to be 3 sets of games being played at the same time. It's going to be absolute chaos. Match day 15 on June 25th kicks off with Curacao taking on the Ivory Coast at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. Then we have Ecuador facing Germany at the MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey. Then we have Japan facing the UEFA Playoff Path winner B at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Then we have Tunisia facing off with the Netherlands at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Then we have the winner of the UEFA Playoff Path C facing the United States at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. And to finish off the day, we have Paraguay versus Australia at the Levi Stadium in San Francisco. There's going to be some crazy matchups here going into the final match day. I think Ecuador versus Germany is going to be huge, and Tunisia versus the Netherlands is going to be a really good one as well. Match day 16 on June 26th kicks off with a crazy game between Norway and France at Gillette Stadium in Boston. Then we have another match between Senegal and the FIFA Interconfederation Playoff winner 2 at BMO Field in Toronto. Then we have Cabo Verde versus Saudi Arabia at the NRG Stadium in Houston, followed by another huge match which is Uruguay versus Spain at the Estadio Akron in Guadalajara. Then we have Egypt versus Iran at the Lumen Field in Seattle. And to finish off the day, we have New Zealand versus Belgium at BC Place in Vancouver. Some absolutely mouth-watering matches here. Norway versus France is going to be unmissable, and you will have to tune in for Uruguay versus Spain. So now we're moving on to the final day of group stage action, which is match day 17 on June 27th. This day kicks off with Panama taking on England at MetLife Stadium in New York, New Jersey. Then we have Croatia versus Ghana at Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. Then we have a crazy game between Colombia versus Portugal at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Then we have the winner of the Interconfederation Playoff 1 versus Uzbekistan at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. Then we have Algeria versus Austria at the Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. And the final game of the group stage is Jordan versus Argentina at the AT&T Stadium in Dallas. Some truly great games here. Colombia versus Portugal is going to be really good, and Jordan versus Argentina should be a good closer as well. So now with the 72 group stage games out of the way, we're back at the FIFA match schedule. So looking at the round of 32, the first game is going to be taking place between 2A versus 2B, and there's only going to be one game on June 28th. Now after that, in the round of 32, there's going to be 3 games every day, as you can tell here, on June 29th all the way to July 3rd. 3 round of 32 games happening every day. Then we move on to the round of 16 games, and it's going to be 2 games a day happening in the round of 16 from July 4th to July 7th. Then on July 8th, there's a rest day, so no games happening then. Then for the quarterfinals on July 9th, we have one match down here, the winner of match 89 versus the winner of match 90. Then on July 10th, we have one more quarterfinal there. And then on July 11th, we have two quarterfinal matches taking place. Then we have 2 rest days in between, which leads us into the semifinals, which is going to see one game happening on July 14th and then another game happening on July 15th. And then 2 more rest days before the third place match on July 18th. And then the final game, the 2026 World Cup final, is going to be taking place on July 19th. So let's take a closer look at these games here. This is kind of the graphic they showed earlier today at the draw, and as you can tell, we have no idea who's going to be playing who because of the third place matches at this World Cup. That's one of the changes at this World Cup with this new format. So we can't really tell who's going to be playing who and where those games will be taking place. But this is kind of what it's going to look like. We obviously have the final match happening in New York, New Jersey, and the critical thing here is going to be taking place at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be a pretty early game. It's going to end around 6 if it doesn't go to penalties. But this is what it looks like. This is the official match schedule for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. These are all 104 matches that we have here. 72 games in the group stages, 32 games in the knockout rounds. It's going to be absolute cinema. But what do you think of the 2026 FIFA World Cup match schedule? Which matches are you most looking forward to? Are there any games happening in your home city? And are you going to be traveling for any of these matches? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more football content, tier lists, and everything in between. And as always, I'll catch you next time.